Kuki and Qui, who are laughing at me, are here so that we can have those conversations that are the great unspoken, yet they need to be spoken about. And I guess you very well brought me into that section of the conversation I wanted to have with both of you. What are these things that your age mates, your counterparts, feel they cannot talk to their parents about, that they end up coming to Kuki's mom or your mom? Surely at this age, drugs. So tell me about drugs. Church, careers,
mental health,
relationships,
sex. Basically the things that your parents say, you can't be talking to me about that.
Okay, let me start with you. Let's do careers. Yeah, let me not shock too many mothers right now on YouTube.
Yeah, so I have 3 siblings, and we are all artsy people, but I decided to continue with my education. Now I'm doing A-levels now, but at the same time my sister dropped out of uni because first financial issues, and then secondly that wasn't her passion to continue with school. So it brought a lot of conflict with our extended family, and people really had questions towards, like, for my mom and for my dad, like, how are you allowing her to drop out of school?
And this will happen, by the way.
Yeah.
But also, let me also explain to you why the drama happens. Because from the day they hold you like this, they project 25 years forward. And as my father said to me, graduation is for me, not for you. And it is, because this many years later, I begin to understand that they know when they have done well, when you deliver on certain milestones. So it's very much like, she's walking, she's talking, she has graduated. So obviously, college, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a very big part of them living vicariously through you.
Yes.
Okay, and the dreams they had. So by the time you say you're not doing Kole at all, and then you ask, but what do you want to do? You say, I don't know, figure it out. There's a mother who goes somewhere and cries.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So your sister has dropped out of college, extended family is like,
what's happening?
what is going on?
So now she's doing music, and she's very passionate about it. And I believe why my mom gave her that space to also just be like, what do you want to do? Is because now that was financial investments. And I think my sister also was like, I don't want to go to uni and waste you guys' money, and this is not something I want to do. So
tell her one day she'll go to uni, she'll pay for it herself, which had done it, but it's okay.
So she thought about it and was like, I'm passionate about music. And she's also been getting paid from her music as well. So our friends who are also going through that same process of, I don't want to do school because I'm passionate about this other thing, but my parents won't support it. So my mom is basically somebody who they'd come to seek advice on how to deal with their parents about it and how they'll talk to them.
That one's never easy. But also something else that I think we will just, we'll throw on the floor here so that people can pick it up, is that I'm very surprised, 18, 19 going 20, that your parents haven't figured out that you come from non-convention success stories. You see, my mom is a lot older than any of your mothers. But I think she kind of got it back in the day that not everybody is going to be a lawyer, not everybody's going to be a pilot, not everybody's going to be a doctor. Are you guys also not helping your parents see what the current and the future looks like? Or how do we get parents there? Because you see, people only know what they know.
Yeah.
So I guess, when they want, like your sister, to go to Kole, what is she supposed to graduate in?
Communications.
Okay.
Yes.
And now she's not graduating, and they are, of course, worried and panicked that life is over. Music, what is that? But you're speaking to somebody who also unconventional.
You had to step out of the mold.
Yes.
Also.
I mean, of course, I finished the degree, but I am the eldest. Okay.
Had to. Not
I need to say this to the camera. First-born children have no option.
We are the last one.
firstborn. Sorry, I mean that one is a deal breaker. It's war, and I had to understand that from my mother. I mean, you don't get a lot of the breaks the others do. The careers that today are in demand didn't exist 5 years ago, and I want every parent to Google this. And I was telling you earlier that one probably of the most amazing evenings I ever went to had been organized by GEMS, Cambridge, the school up in Langata, and it was the future of education. And for me, it was understanding that the job my 8-year-old daughter will be looking at in about 8 to 10 years does not even exist yet.
Nope. I think a very clear example of that one is being an influencer.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
or
a lot
a
of these,
YouTuber.
or a YouTuber.
Yep. I don't think anybody was thinking.
Can you imagine one of the
day.
biggest things that today I know people still can't get is a good social media manager.
Yep.
A good one. Not just somebody saying, I do social media.
Yeah.
No.
Someone
a good
who
one.
thinks,
Who
and
thinks, yes.
plans, and you post pictures at specific times. The captions matter. You need
Tagging
to be talking
matter.
to us.
Yes.
Exactly.
For me, the thing was, I cannot believe that given your ages, your parents haven't come to the realization that your lives will not be as convention is. I'm very surprised.
But
because you're not millennials, you're
Yeah.
actually Generation Z.
Yeah, but you would be surprised how in every circle everyone is like millennials and they move on.
No, you're not millennials.
Yeah, they
Yes.
do them. They're not thinking about it that way. They're just like, oh, you're below a certain age. Phone is always in your hand. Millennial. You're not really thinking about life. In fact, a lot of the time, I think the one question that has really stressed me my entire life is, what do you have to be stressed about? Bruh, first of all, I had 5 parents. Let's start there.
Oh
I
my
had
goodness.
5 parents,
Yes.
and I lost 2 of them in 2016. But up until 2016, I had 5 parents, 5 people constantly checking in on me, 5 people with different opinions on what I should do with my life after school. I mean, I think the biggest supporters were now Mom and Eric, my stepdad, where they were like, you know, we're not going to push you to do things you don't want. And I think one of the biggest reasons is that for like Mom's my entire life, in her life, because I came in pretty early, she always made me a priority. So even if she had a really good job, high flying, everything, if I call her at 8 p.m. and I'm like, where are you? You know, in about 3 weeks, she'll be like, you guys, you know, I love this job, but my daughter needs me.
We're going to talk about that in about 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, but I think the biggest reason she did that is also because she was sick. Again, the bipolar.
Yes.
So it also helped a lot for her to be like, you know, I actually need to be with my child. And am I going to put all my energy into work or into being a mom?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think she chose. And so I think the reason why I've always gone with, in fact, I tell this to a lot of people, even in school, why I never used to get in trouble all the time. And I was one of those kids who used to get away with a lot of things. And it wasn't because I was a bad kid. It was because I was outspoken and the adults in school didn't know how to deal with it.
Okay.
And then my mom would step into the picture and she's like, this is why you called me. Like, your lack of understanding of my child is the reason you called me.
Yes.
You haven't asked her any questions about why she did what she did.
But she's a child, she should not know these things.
Exactly.
Yes,
And so my mom is like,
with children.
yeah, and my mom is like, "Aight, if that's the reason, I'll talk to her at home."
I'm sure she said all right, not aight. Back
I'm
to
pretty
you.
sure she didn't even say all right. In fact, I think it got to a point where they'd never even used to call my mom because they're like, not the parent. So I think coming from that was that she was very supportive when I got to the age where I was like, I want to be a doctor. Then I was like, I want to be a writer. And all my other parents are like, you need to pick something that you can go to college to do. And then now I withdrew completely and I was like, I'm not going to college. And my mom was like, if that's what you've chosen,
I think this is the other strange thing where I'm very surprised that you come from a generation where your parents don't know that yet. Because if there's one thing we also understand is nobody has it figured out completely yet.
And that's what we're always trying to point out, and nobody wants to listen. They're like, yeah, but you go to college so that you can learn to figure it out. I'm like, but I know so many people.
College teaches you how to think.
Yeah. In fact, it's like school, because I was even talking about it, and once I went into homeschool, one of the things that I learned was just basically how to live life.
You're also homeschooled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
In fact, we left the same school at the same time. We're like,
So this homeschool thing comes about how? Mom says,
I wanted to leave because at that point, the school we were
wanted to
in,
leave.
the administration was very faulty, and we're like, we can't keep doing this.
So
'cause
politically
how do
correct.
you, as a 16-year-old,
So politically
decide?
correct.
I know. How do you then decide
Let me tell
administration
you,
is
she
faulty?
wasn't
No,
even
I
16.
need to speak in the voice of parents. How dare you?
Because we
the
the
older classes first of all had not graduated yet, and there were like projects and essays, because to finish AC like you need to do some projects and essays, but the way they were handling all that, the marking, the correction of the things,
And you could
just-
tell?
Yeah, it was
evident.
so obvious, and they were trying to cover it up with things like, "Let's do this other thing," and then then in the middle of an idea, they're like, "Okay, so we're not doing that anymore," and you're like,
But wait, we live in a
There's no
world where you
structure.
can't go home and tell your mother the administration at the school doesn't know what it's doing.
And funny enough,
In
I
fact,
think
it
it
used
also
to be
reflected
every
with
day,
them.
yeah.
That's why it was.
In fact, the reason we're pulled
They
out is,
understood.
in fact, what happened, how I learned I was going into homeschool.
Oh, you learned?
Was, how I learned. I left, we closed school, December holidays. I had my birthday party because I'm born at the end of the year. Guys came, we had fun, everything. In January, I asked my mom, "So when are we opening school?" "Oh, I didn't tell you, you're homeschooled."
And how did it happen for you?
For me, I brought the idea to my mother and gave her reasons. I'm like, please, let me just do this.
So your parents are not as the monsters.
No.
Our parents
They're
are not.
Yeah,
Like,
because
and
they
I
used
think
to
it's
listen.
cause-
They used to interact with the teachers, and then they're like, there's actually a story
I
here.
need to meet both your mothers. I met yours. She's dope, as
Her
they say.
mom is
Yeah.
also really cool.
Yeah.
So we've talked about careers. What else can't young people talk to them? Okay, what is it about relationships? Tell me.
Books.
No.
Books.
Just
There's
define
no-
what I like a guy. Okay. Chances are you start liking a guy differently from the time you're about 11, 12. You're not allowed to say that.
He will ruin your life.
Yeah, he will. Allow me to stand in the gap for parents. He will.
No, it's-
but what is
I
it?
think for
You
some
drink
people,
Uh-huh.
I think when the parents hear the idea of this, my daughter is finding this other
Character.
opposite sex attractive,
Attractive,
talking to boys and all those things,
But
then
aren't
I
you guys
don't.
in mixed school anyway? Okay,
Yeah, I think they just either thought it would bring shame to their family,
Yes.
or their child would get lost, or get these early pregnancies, all these basically taboos in the African culture and stuff.
So rather than, and of course, big swallow, because I speak as a mother, hands shaking. I'm like, okay, so tell me, what are we thinking? What are we doing? Because I've always told myself before I stand in judgment of a child or another parent, and I ask myself, if I was in her shoes, that woman's shoes, thinking, dear Lord, no, not now. I think I'd rather diffuse it by let's have this conversation, because
Yep.
also I do not want you having this I don't want you to have this conversation with somebody else and having this relationship or this moment in your life without me in it.
Yep. And I think one of the biggest reasons that happens is because you tell us that's not something you come and talk to us about. So as we look for the next best thing, our friends. And then they don't know either.
No, by the way, I was going to tell you guys are a haven of misinformation.
That's the point. That's
haven
the exact point. In fact, my mom told me, if there are things that you genuinely feel you have to come and ask me, ask. Don't go and ask your friends. They don't know either.
No, they don't.
know. But most parents don't think like that. In fact, they'll be like, it's those friends of yours. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't give them the space to talk to you.
Exactly.
You don't.
Yes.
And it's about giving them the space. It's about telling them that it's actually okay if you have this issue that I don't currently understand. Because there are even times when my mom has been like, I'll get back to you. Or she's like, go talk to Auntie Stella, because that's her best friend. And she's like, this is somebody who I trust, who understands the situation better than me.
I would also think once again, because your parents are definitely younger than mine, that they have gone through certain motions to understand we can't do what was done 30 years ago thinking it's a constant.
In fact, they say, see, as we went through it, you'll be fine.